Thank you very much. Magandang umagang hapon sa inyo lahat. Good morning. Great pleasure to be with you. And this is out of protocol, frankly, because of course I'm taking part in various openings, workshops, seminars, but it's extremely meaningful when we are addressing something that is at the heart of what we consider the Leave No One Behind agenda. Today's topic is a concentration of challenges that if we address them in a successful manner, definitely we will contribute not just to the Sustainable Development Goals, but we will be contributing to the human rights agenda. So this is why I'm really very proud of being with you and bringing in a very humble manner my contribution. So thank you for being here. Thank you for, I hope, being active in this exchange. And I would like to extend this appreciation to our dear colleagues from the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, ESCAP. They are playing an important leadership role at the regional level, and their presence here is another demonstration of the UN reform. I'm not going to start boring you on the UN reform, but the UN reform, in fact, is calling the various UN bodies to pool their capacities, knowledge, resources together to support member states, and in this case, to support the Philippines. So it's extremely important that we have the expert of ESCAP here present with us. And of course, main leader in this political endeavor, the Philippines Commission on Women. And I'm very happy to be here with the leader of the Women's Commission, because this is the best way of recognizing the importance of this agenda. Oxfam Pilipinas, they are also leaders in the humanitarian peace and development nexus, and a global leader, when it comes to Oxfam, a global leader in fighting inequalities and reducing poverty. So great that Oxfam is part of that. And then the Philippines Rural Reconstruction Movement. I had the opportunity of engaging with them at the very beginning of this seminar, this consultation. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of you for organizing this event. Number one is that if we look at statistics, facts, and dates, the state of gender equality in the Philippines is both. On one side, a cause for optimism, great optimism, and we have to celebrate that. And on the other side, a reason to accelerate efforts for promoting better access to jobs for all women. So on one side, we have the very good news. On another side, we have the indication that there are some indicators that still needs strong engagement from all of us. I think that, I'm sure you have had a look at the Global Gender Gap Report, and then when we look at the statistics there, the ranking, the Philippines is number 16 globally, number 2 in the region, immediately after New Zealand, as the best, second best in the Asia Pacific region. As I mentioned, immediately after a country that has long-standing position on gender equality. And a key driver for that to be number 2 in Asia Pacific, a key driver, of course, is you, because you know that the way of becoming a good performer is not just by having laws and having, executive order. It's more than that. It's having a movement that is pushing, advocating, and making sure that things are implemented. So, but the key driver, as I mentioned, is that, the movement, and at the same time, what you know, this famous Philippine Magna Carta for Women, a landmark law signed nearly 13 years ago, and seeking to eliminate discrimination against women. Quite important milestone in this process. So we have that on one side. And what is in some way striking is that women's labor force participation still remains particularly low in the Philippines. So female labor force participation in the country has remained, as I said, low at 45% compared to the 71% of men. And we are using data from the International Labour Organization. 2022, data coming from the report 2022. And one of the major obstacles to women's participation in the labor force is precisely, and it will be discussed today, their caregiving responsibilities. And we know in the Philippines, women and girls carry a significant unpaid care and domestic work burden. And if we look at the statistics, devoting almost 11 hours daily on this task, which is 4 times more than men. This gender disparity restricts, of course, women's and girls' access to education and decent work opportunities. And again, if we look at the normative tools that we have in the Philippines, we have to be very proud of that. No? And the first one, and I'm referring to something 1990. I remember I was in Nicaragua in those days, starting my career as an international civil servant. In 1990, we had here the passage of the Republic Act 6972 that established daycare centers in every barangay. And then 1997, an executive order 340 mandated on-site daycare services in government agencies and corporations. And despite those investments, of course, implementation is always a big challenge. These long-standing measures and the commendable progress accomplished by the Philippines, we also noticed significant implementation gaps and inadequate provision of care services, hampering the effective addressing of unpaid care work. And I would like to share with you some figures related to the importance of investing in this sector. So when we invest in this sector, when we value unpaid care and domestic work, it's not just a question of, let's say, social protection, but it's also investing in development. I would like to share with you some data based on the International Labour Organization, increasing investment by 3.5% of GDP in transformative care policies and services that recognize, that reduce, and redistribute unpaid care burdens for women can, of course, close the gender employment gap by over 5% points and close the gender wage gap by over 9% points. These are statistics offered by the International Labour Organization that I suggest that you put it also as part of the advocacy. So investing in this area is also fostering sustainable and inclusive development. So we have returns, economic returns from this investment. Number two, care infrastructure investment could generate over 4.5 million new jobs in the Philippines by 2030. You know, the 2030 is sort of a magic horizon that we have at the global level, the UN member states. So care infrastructure investment could generate over 4.5 million new jobs in the Philippines by 2030 and could contribute significantly to improving the working condition, of course, of care workers who often face decent work deficit. This approach and the statistics that I'm sharing with you, they are part of one of the strategic goals that we have in the new cooperation framework that we are finalizing with the government. You know, right now the UN is negotiating with the government the final version of the cooperation framework, UN cooperation framework that will guide the work between the UN and the Philippines from next year till 2028. And we are in this process of negotiation. And this topic is one of the elements that we have in the cooperation framework. And I'm looking at the leader of the Philippines Building Commission. And we would like certainly to preserve it at the heart of our work. No? So we need your support in your discussion with other government agencies to preserve that, because I think that is extremely strategic, and we are accomplishing with quite important steps with this seminar. So dear friends, colleagues, and also members of the international community, I'm happy that we have the presence of some member states here, and Australia in particular. Before I end, of course, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Philippines Commission on Women, as I said, a close ally and partner of the UN in the Philippines, which has been, as we see, at the forefront of driving positive changes related to care. The Philippines Commission on Women has made significant contributions, such as championing the UN General Assembly resolution on the International Day of Care and Support. So they are bringing at the global landscape this experience from the Philippines. And we will be celebrating for the first time this International Day of Care and Support on October 29th. So thank you so much to Oxfam and other partners of the Philippine Commission on Women. I'm happy that Len leading UN Women is also with us, a fundamental, critical organization in this process in gender equality. Oxfam, what we know, played a pivotal role in conducting the National House of Care Survey in 2021, yielding invaluable insights into the distribution of unpaid care and domestic work responsibilities and their societal impact. And I also wish to acknowledge ESCAP for their invaluable contribution to the Philippines case study. We always say that we cannot transform what we cannot measure. So having this report and getting this data is another way of bringing the evidence for transformative policy. So thank you so much to our colleagues from ESCA. And thank you for the invitation. For me, as I said, it's an honor to be with you on those relevant topics that are reinforcing gender equality. So on behalf of the United Nations country team, I wish you great success in this discussion, in this exercise, and you have the support of the United Nations. Thank you. Maraming salamat.